wow, this is really not a good way for me to start because I'm already wanting to cry. Chris Schmidt, you made me look really bad because I wrote down everything I want to say because I know I'm too emotional to do this anyway. And Professor Gauguin, I think that my font size is a little larger than yours. I think I'm a little further down the road. Good evening, my name is Elise Luckey. I'm the co-director of the Bonner Leader Program here at Lindsey Wilson College. I have the privilege and the honor of introducing to you Mr. Josh Newman. I've probably known Josh for a decade and have watched him grow up, and I have been very blessed, as many other people in this community, by your very presence. Josh started his college career elsewhere and transferred into Lindsey. He will tell you that it was a stroke of good fortune that brought him here. But those of us who know Josh know that we are the ones who've been blessed. As a point of personal privilege, and I wasn't certain I was going to do this, Josh, because I don't want to pick on you, but as a point of personal privilege, I'd like to tell you how Josh seemed to me 3 years ago when he arrived at Lindsey. I would regularly run into Josh in the dining center. It's just where I came across you the most. And I would, often go and sit down with him and ask him how it was going, and he was always positive, and he was so happy to be here. But he just struck me as, honestly, a little bit lonely your first semester, and part of that's being new, but part of that is kind of finding your way. And I have watched you grow and bloom, and by Christmas time, I had noticed a perceptible difference. By the end of the semester, even more so. And by fall semester of the next year, he would walk in to the dining center, walk through the passageway there, and literally across the dining center, you'd hear, "Newman, Newman!" And he was like, he went from being kind of, to himself to being like the most popular kid on campus. It was like I could hardly, find him by himself to corner him and spend a little time with him. So Josh has been with us for 3 years here at Lindsey Wilson College. He's completed over 600 hours of community service here at several community sites. He's been a Bonner leader for 2 of his 3 years here. His primary sites off campus are Camp Casey and the Center for Courageous Kids. At Camp Casey, an after-school program at a local elementary school, he leads various programs including Games Galore and Beginning Spanish. He's also spent many of his free weekends volunteering to help out disabled children and children with life-altering illness and their families at the Center for Courageous Kids. He gives of himself unconditionally and selflessly. Sorry. Josh obviously is living a balanced life because while he's doing all this, he is carrying an institutional GPA of 3.5. When asked, this is what Dana Harmon, who directs Camp Casey, had to say about Josh. Joshua Newman, a.k.a. Mr. Josh at Camp Casey, is one of the more energetic Bonner leaders who work in our program. He's always upbeat and cheerful. Our student participants gravitate to Mr. Josh because they know they are sure to have fun when he's around. He's led several different activities in our after-school program, and he always puts his all into preparing and leading the students in their learning adventures. Not only does Mr. Josh inspire our students to be regular attendees, but he also helps us recruit other Bonners to become leaders. He is always a perfect gentleman and never fails to bring a smile with his presence. I personally believe that our Mr. Josh will be very successful in all his future endeavors. Ed Collins from the Center for Courageous Kids said, "Josh has taken on different tasks depending on what our needs were. Regardless of the family or program area, Josh always enthusiastically takes on any role for the better of camp and does so with a smile. The last time we had Josh here, he played with 2 young boys who were part of a larger family where it was obvious that attention was spread pretty thin. By the end of the retreat, these 2 boys lived to see Josh. They lit up and smiled ear to ear as soon as they saw him and could not wait to play with him. Josh brings a sincere heart and a youthful energy to a camp program that strives to serve in a manner that promotes relationships and enhances life through relationship-based programs. Thanks to Josh's talents and energies, families experience these outcomes. That's the testimonial of just two people. And I can assure you, every place you go, if Josh has been there, people have things like this to say. Jean Hopkins walked up to our table tonight and she said, "Oh my gosh, what am I going to do without Josh?" He walks in and the first thing he says is, "What do you need from me?" I personally had an issue maybe 2 months ago, and I called Josh and said, "Hey Josh, what are you doing tonight?" And he said, "Nothing, I'll come right over." And I said, "Well, don't you want to know what I need first?" He said, "No, I'm free." I was like, "Josh, this is going to take like 5 hours. I needed a ride to Louisville." He said, "Oh, that's great. I'll be right there." So, you know, this is what you get when you get Josh Newman. Josh could have received this leadership award simply for his community service, but he has done much, much more in his 3 years here at Lindsey Wilson College. In addition to being a Bonner, Josh has been an EDGE leader, a peer mentor for the Freshman Year Experience Program, active in the Student Government Association, a member of the LWC Singers, a tutor, and a JV soccer player. I would say that he will be sorely missed by the Lindsey Wilson community and his service sites, only Josh has made it clear that he's not leaving. Josh is staying to work on his MA in Counseling and Human Development. As a graduate assistant, he will be a men's dorm counselor for the School of Professional Counseling. Additionally, he has adamantly insisted on remaining active as a volunteer in the Bonner program because of his deep and abiding commitment to his students at Camp Casey and the campers at the Center for Courageous Kids. I present to you Josh Newman, or Mr. Josh.